Welcome to my skate school. Here, you're gonna learn the basics, you're gonna get good, and if you don't, I'm gonna break your board. Coach.
My name is V.
Well, shut the hell up, Dora. I'm playing skate.
The morning light is turning blue, the feeling is bizarre. The night is almost over, I still don't know where you are. The shadows they keep me pretty like a movie star. Daylight makes me feel like Dracula. Run from the sunlight, Dracula. Run from the sunlight, Dracula.
If you're anything like me, you grew up consuming skate media like it was oxygen. Whether it was movies, skate montages, video games, or even trying to get on the board and immediately eating pavement. As you can see, I'm a real skater. Skater boy. That's me. Skater boy. Skateboarding has kind of been around all my life. Very early on, I latched onto skateboarding video games as one of my favorite genres in gaming. I first got started on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Me and my siblings would spend hours playing with cheats as Darth Maul and Ollie the Magic Bum, shooting fireballs at each other. I couldn't even land a 10,000 point combo, but I was still having the time of my life as a little adolescent boy Tonying my Hawk. And as the years went on, I tried Pro Skater 4, both underground games, and eventually finished a Tony Hawk game, that being American Wasteland. But by that time I had a PS3 and none of the new Tony Hawk's games interested me.
You can do all the basic skateboard maneuvers, skateboarding, skateboard.
So I set my sights on the PlayStation Store. More importantly, the demos section, where I found the demo for a game called Skate 3. This demo was literally just a tiny little area surrounding the arena in the University District with a 30-minute time limit. But I easily spent upwards of a week playing that demo over and over and over again, trying to glitch out into other parts of the map to even get the slightest taste of that full game. So much so that for Christmas that year, my parents got me the full game. And I continued to play the absolute shit out of that game day in and day out.
Fucking Hall of Meat, whatever. Pause.
Learning the trick line, trying and failing to learn hippie jumps over and over again. This game consumed my 10-year-old little body, and I even tried picking up a skateboard at my local skate park before saying fuck that, and picking up a BMX at my local skate park before saying fuck that and probably breaking my wrist in my local skate park. I was fucking born for this game. But after a couple years of doing everything there is to do in Skate 3 and getting Skate 2 and playing that one a lot less but still a fair amount, shout out Big Black and the Fantasy Factory, and shout out to walking headfirst into a door. Fans and I eagerly awaited the inevitable sequel to such a successful game. So fast forward 15 fucking years, and oh look, EA finally made a new skate game called Skate Period, formerly known as Skate 4, formerly known as Mouse Cop. Let's check it out. Oh, what the fuck is this, Richard? So instead of just making Skate 4 like everyone and their grandmother wanted, holy shit, she just hit a clip! They decided to reboot the entire series and are set to release Skate to the world in 2025 as a free-to-play, open-world, online-only sandbox live service microtransaction skate game.
You put the goddamn Wiener 12s in that bitch.
For you to achieve all of your skateboarding desires, such as doing a kickflip, doing a heel flip, doing a triple backflip 720 tornado spin into a half-pipe 4 kilometers down off the highest building in the game. He'll be fine, because he has Impervatech, which is this new mechanic that removes all of the fun from bailing, because skaters can't feel pain now, so you just bounce around like a bouncing ball. Now, as a longtime skate fan, I can't lie and say that I haven't been having an amazing time playing this game for nearly a month now. But there is such a bitter taste in my mouth seeing the clear influence from Fortnite and the extremely clear attempts to puppy dog eyes you into spending your mortgage on a skateboard that is identical to the one you're already holding. So for the price of $20, you could get a full skate game that has some of the best gameplay, glitches, missions, and a huge 3-part map to do the dumbest things your heart desires, packed with unique characters such as real-life pros like Danny Way, Eric Costin, and Rob Dyrdek, goofy stupid shit like Dem Bones and Isaac Clarke from the Dead Space series, and also just a 300-pound ribeye steak. Holy shit, that steak just hit a clip, Grandma! That sounds like an amazing deal. What can you get in the new skate shop for that price? Oh, if you pay double that price, you get an Isaac Clarke costume from Spirit Halloween and a couple stickers. Or if that doesn't tickle your fancy, you could buy a fancy Founders Deluxe pack that includes 3 t-shirts equipped with a JPEG of the games that you used to like and a slab of meat from the last game everyone liked. But it's actually just another Spirit Halloween costume because they wanted this game to be realistic, because that's for sure what the gamers expected from this game. A slab of meat was way too unrealistic for these professional gamers. But Goompty, you're probably saying, right? That's what you sound like. But Goompty, it's a free-to-play game. You don't have to buy those things if you don't want to. You can customize your character with the outfits and the loot boxes. This game has loot boxes, by the way. Oh, you're so right. I never thought of that. What do you think? Should I wear green pants number 1 or green pants number 2? Maybe green beanie or green hoodie? What do you want? Now, the free in-game customization isn't completely bad per se, but if you asked basically anyone in the world if they would prefer this system for getting new clothes or the Skate 3 system, it is night and day. In Skate 3, you had a plethora of different shirts, hoodies, jackets, pants, shoes, hats, glasses, boards that you can unlock via in-game missions if you didn't already have that item when you started the game. And each of those items could be customized, whether it's different styles for the pre-made clothes or even the ability to add stickers and change the size and rotation to add complete customization. You can even make custom stickers from the Skate website and upload it to your game. Now in Skate Period, you'd think it'd be more customizable. I mean, you can change your grip color and even add designs to your grip tape itself. But for the most part, even if you have all the free items in the loot boxes, the customization is just abysmal. I mean, you literally can't even flip your hat from front to back without paying EA $10. And for some reason, there are more White Knights defending this game than there are in a Twitch streamer's chat. On one hand, I fully understand the people defending this game because I do genuinely enjoy the game. The skating is probably the best the series has ever seen, and for a game literally titled Skate Period, the skating should be the best it's ever been. Period. I've never enjoyed vert skating in really any skateboarding game until this one because the pumping feature is so satisfying. It took watching a YouTube video going through in depth how to do it before I was able to actually understand how to do it, but when I did, I spent hours just rolling around the Rolling Waves TM skate park, and that's the only truly good skate park in the game, and I will die on that hill. And the street skating is just as, if not more satisfying to finally pull off that clip you've been trying to achieve for days, maybe weeks, maybe even a month, who knows, maybe it's not like I have experience. Fuck! The glitches are some of the best and most entertaining in the series so far, and the promises of upcoming features and content, plus the fact that this game is in early access, sets up huge potential for this game to not only be a great skate game someday, but maybe, just maybe, with enough love and care, this could be the best skate game ever. Period. But, and that's a big but, because you can customize that in this game too. Awooga. We cannot excuse all of the faults of this game just because it's free to play in early access. That doesn't just negate any and all criticism. And with over 60 hours put into this game, I feel like there's a lot of valid criticism coming from a good amount of the people in the community. And first and most apparently, the microtransactions. Now, as any free-to-play game in the year 8AF after Fortnite, this game has a metric dick ton of things to buy for real-life currency, because that's the way free-to-play games like this are able to make a profit and continue adding content to the live service model. It's the way the world of gaming works, whether we like it or not, after Fortnite found this super secret cheat code of steal money from a baby and also steal money from a grown adult because they willingly gave away their money for a JPEG. And I'm not complaining that there are microtransactions. I'm fully glad to never spend a penny on this game and just grind away at the free items if the developers don't give me a game worth any money. And as of right now, this game is not. So why am I bringing up the microtransactions then? And that's because the Isaac Clarke costume costs $40 and I cannot wrap my tiny little brain around that. You can buy Dead Space, the game Isaac Clarke is the main character in, twice for the price of this skin, which is somehow a downgrade from the Fortnite version of the skin and the Skate 3 version. The audacity this shop has is unlike anything I've ever seen in any other free-to-play game. At least with Fortnite, I can confidently put down $10 here and there and expect a lot of bang for my buck, because that game respects the time you put into it and rewards you for consistent gameplay. But Skate is literally just selling you the default trucks you get when you boot up the game in the store for $4, and people are like, yeah, that'll do it. And from a game that doesn't even have a full Skatepedia of tricks from the previous games in the series, even though this game had just about double the development time of every other previous entry in the series, and is still only in early access, this just feels like they built the game as a shop and then forgot it existed for 3 years and then suddenly remembered and had to rush to put out something before people got suspicious. And because it's got the early access label on it, now, no matter how good the game is, if you criticize it, then you're being too harsh because the full game's not even finished yet. And like, yeah, that's the point. This game is a glorified tutorial on one of the most uninspired skate maps I have ever played on. And it took 5 fucking years to get to this state. Skate 3 came out 1 year after Skate 2 and is still regarded to this day as one of, if not the best skateboarding game to ever be released. But that's not a fair comparison because the devs had to create a skate system from scratch for the 2025 release. So let's take it back to Skate 1, which presumably had a 2 to 3 year development cycle, so let's say it began development in 2005. Skate 3 came out 5 years later. Even though the birth of Skate itself, when Jesus Christ came down from the Ultra Mega Park in the sky and handed David a skateboard and told him to do a nollie tray, and the release of Skate 3 was just about the same amount of time it's taken for Skate period to be made. And Skate 3 had about 8 times the features, details, and life poured into it than this game. And not only that, but in those 5 years to make Skate 3, they released Skate 1 and Skate 2, which both have full maps and stories that lead you through the life of your up-and-coming skater, which makes the world feel real and lived in. This game has a map that is Saints Row 3 levels of boring stacked on top of boring, with small glimpses of greatness peeking through, such as the aforementioned Rolling Waves Park. Even the skate parks surrounding the map, like the Dime Park, which is based on a real-life skate competition that's going on in Canada, those parks are considered community parks, which on one hand could be really cool if they implemented it right. But first of all, the community-made parks feel more so like they were community-made by 3-year-olds, and I would know because that's what my old skate parks looked like on Skate 3.
Maybe the head CEO of whoever it is needs to give everybody in the creative department a drug test.
Now I assume they look like this because they're hoping for people to use the dropper tool and do it yourself, but the only thing I'm going to be doing myself is dog pissing off the side of a building. Holy shit, I just hit that! But you want to know the second reason I can tell that this isn't being implemented correctly yet? The fact that they replaced the Dime Park with this piece of steaming shit. The Dime Park was extremely fun to skate around and probably my 3rd favorite park in the entire game, which isn't saying much, but still. I've had a lot of fun on that park, and I barely touched the surface before they immediately destroyed it for Season 1. Now, I understand there's probably more legal issues that go into having real-life locations, but come on, at least replace it with something sensible and not this. This feature does open the possibility for fun new opportunities, such as adding things like the official Olympic skate park when the time rolls around, and it can be very interesting to see what they do with these parks in the future. Hey, quick interruption. If you're watching this video as it's going up, or even afterwards, you should head on over to our Twitch channel, because if you're watching this as we're uploading this, me and Splumpy are actually live streaming, playing through every single Zombies map in release order, not on the original games because we can't get those on PS5, but we're doing our best. But if that seems like anything that you would enjoy, or if you just like hearing us yap about stupid shit or the dumb little jokes we make, head on over to our Twitch channel at The First Year. It's just twitch.tv/thefirstyear. It's pretty easy to find. And if we're not live, drop us a follow, if you will. We'd really appreciate any support we can get over there. And if you want to watch any previous streams, you can head on over to youtube.com at The First Year VODs. It's a new channel we made, and we're going to be uploading every single VOD we make on Twitch, and that's where we're going to be getting a lot of our gameplay for the videos that you see here. So if you ever want to see what we're up to, or if you want more first year content, that is the place to do it, because we are very, very slow to upload on this channel. But we want to continue bringing you content because we really appreciate the support that you've given us over the years that we've had this channel, and we want to continue to bring that love and care to this new VODs channel, to our Twitch channel, and more importantly, to future first year content. So yeah, head on over to The First Year VODs, head on over to twitch.tv/thefirstyear, and without further ado, let's see what little tiny goopty idiot baby wants to talk about. Now, the story mode in this game, if you can even call it that, is basically just Slappy and Shingo from the previous games speaking to you as if you're a 4-year-old that just got left in a Chuck E. Cheese, while also sounding like that one Steve Buscemi meme. I'm pretty sure both Slappy and Shingo were kidnapped to be in the city.
Head up to the top for a nice palate cleanser, and get ready to wet your whistle for the real ender.
What did he say?
But alongside them is V, a new character introduced to the series that takes over as your guide to the city, and is so unbelievably disliked by the entire fan base, the option to turn her off was built into the game from day one, because even the devs knew just how annoying she was.
I like your new gripe tip. Dope. Stupid autocorrect.
And together, they teach you the fundamentals of how to flip trick, grind, grab, manual, spin, flip, trick. Congratulations, you completed the game. Here's your trophy, but you only get it if you keep playing those 4 boring game modes I gave you at least for 100 hours. The worst part is there actually is a tutorial in the game before the actual game tutorial starts that teaches you all the basics in a very slimmed down sense on this beautiful island skate park that you get to explore for exactly 5 minutes before he quickly rushes you out to get the fuck off the island because they do not want you here. And you're never allowed to go to that island ever again. Have you been wondering where a specific spot is that you've seen in the background of this video? That's because it's on a map that you've played but never got the actual chance to explore, because I had to go make a new skate account to be able to stay in the tutorial map for longer. And you know what? I genuinely think that this tutorial island is better than all of San Vansterdam. First of all, the first, best, and only mega ramp in the entire fucking game is the first thing you ride on, so point 1.
Look, they finally added a mega ramp. Why is there a hole at the bottom of the ramp?
But also, the entire map is kind of a downhill theme park with different secret spots, such as the double set staircase that leads into a parking lot, which could be tricked seamlessly into the mega ramp, or maybe this huge half-pipe canal area that I didn't even get to explore because the game automatically completed the tutorial for me when I got back on later that day. This game despises the fact that anyone stays on this island for more than the allotted time. They will genuinely just complete the tutorial for you so that you're forced to see their new shiny map instead. Even the skate park that they introduced to you at the end is one of the most unique and fun spots in the game. And because it's a tutorial, there are usually countless skaters flying by doing tricks alongside you. It genuinely feels like you're being sold a false bag of goods in this tutorial, because this map and setting and community is way better than absolutely anything you're gonna find in the main game. The entire game just takes a nosedive after this point, and the game isn't even bad. That just goes to show how fucking good this map is, and how bad we need them to let us come back to it after we've already finished the tutorial. Because I cannot just keep creating fake emails just so I can skate on this fun little skater island unrelated to the SpongeBob one. The fact that this game is in early access or that it is free to play ultimately means nothing in the defense of this game, because there are countless free to play games that handle microtransactions better than this game, and countless other skateboarding games that are worth the extra few dollars that you may have to spend in order to get a full game and not whatever this is. And the time that it's taken to get to this point is just embarrassing to see the amount of gold that this series has produced in the fraction amount of that time before. But once again, massive but, none of these points matter when you look at this game from an unbiased, objective place, because there is no denying that this game is just fun as hell to play. Especially with friends, at the end of the day, this game feels like a true skate game. It's kind of like just the frame and engine of a car, and it's all held together by tape and glue, but it still runs, damn it, and honestly that's all you need to really enjoy a skate game. They seem to be really leaning heavily into the identity of the franchise with these realistic simulation skating for the skater boys, and goofy silly dumb wacko bullshit for those freaky fucks that just want to T-pose into space and do a 900,000. The identity of the skate franchise is blatantly apparent in this game, especially when it comes to the glitches. When I began my journey into the skate world, I learned about many glitches, mainly out of bounds glitches because once again I pushed the limits of the demo so incredibly hard. But once I got the game and realized just how much of a glitchy mess it is, it made me fall in love with this game 10 times more. Speed glitches, pop glitches, whatever the fuck this is, and my personal favorite, the run really fast into this ramp and shoot off across the stars so you can touch tips with Jesus Christ himself. But Skate 3 isn't the only game with memorable glitches. That's kind of been a core identity for the Skate franchise since its inception. Honestly, more so in the first game. There was a video from the YouTuber Duck Voice that has lived rent-free in my mind until this very day. And in it, he explored the glitchy mess that is Skate 1, featuring things like the pop glitch,
bitch. Suck a dick.
the flight glitch, the just do a front flip pussy glitch, and that showed me just how fun this game series could be when you're able to dissect the game part by part and use it to its full potential. It's such a big part of the experience, so when I finally got into Skate period, I was happy to see not only was it still a glitchy mess, it was probably more so than all of the others, but the useful fun glitches were also still in the game. Things like the Superman-esque pop glitch, a regular pop glitch, a speed glitch, and most famously, the T-pose launch glitch that after doing a hippie jump, your character does a T-pose and then shoots off like a rocket, leaving behind only their board and memory. And then suddenly you find yourself in the fucking moon, slowly plummeting back to San Vansterdam. This glitch is the most insane skate glitch I have seen in a while, and it's not even that hard to do. It took me like 4 tries before I was in orbit. And depending on the length of how long you hold your emote, you could theoretically and successfully use this glitch to land on any building in the game, making the in-game traversal a lot more doable. Because at the current moment, the climbing mechanic is not quite Assassin's Creed level. So instead of trying to climb a building for 10 minutes because the physics engine is physically fighting you the whole time, you could just T-pose fly like Adam Warlock and get onto any building you like and have the time of your life. It's one of the most useful glitches you can have in a skate game where getting on rooftops is as highly encouraged as it is in this game. And would you be surprised if I told you that EA removed this glitch within the first month of launch? Because you probably shouldn't be.
Are you acting in a way that suggests dissatisfaction with my performance?
Yes, because you patched the fucking launch glitch. It's no secret that this game wasn't made with love and care towards the old skate games, made as a love letter to the franchise that took over the skating genre. It was made because EA really likes money, and people really fucking want Skate 4. So just like another dead-in-the-water skating game franchise that got revived purely out of corporate greed only to fail completely because it was an online-only slop fest that only represented the franchise that came before it in the gameplay and the gameplay alone, but even that is kind of fucked up because people can't do what they used to be able to do and now they're kind of just yelling at you and it's really hurting your feelings. How did this happen twice? In the Season 1 update, Skate finally addressed some of the people's biggest concerns, such as the lighting, now adding a warm orange tint over the gameplay that now looks just slightly more like Skate 2. They also added some more content to keep the game fresh, like adding floats and balloons in many locations, and even adding custom ramps around familiar locations such as the Dome. Alongside that came more missions that gave you ticks, that's what they're called ticks. They give you ticks for, you guessed it, the Battle Pass, because it can't be a free-to-play game without the Battle Pass, and that's in the Constitution. This Battle Pass comes with some stuff, a couple good, and a couple... And it also gives you exactly half of your money back in their equivalent of real-life money, unlike Fortnite or Call of Duty. Because if you don't want the Battle Pass in, let's say, Fortnite, you pay for the Battle Pass, and you play it throughout all of the season only to complete the entire Battle Pass, which rewards you with 1,000 V-Bucks, which is exactly how much you spent on the Battle Pass. And not only that, I'm pretty sure they throw in an extra 250 or something just cuz. And this builds a trust between the game and the player, and as long as the player keeps playing the game, they know that the game will keep rewarding them with in-game free items, so long as you use your points wisely. No matter how dystopian that is, if you're gonna make a Battle Pass, this is the way to do it. And that's in Fortnite, the game that started this whole trend in the first place, and safe to say, the most profitable free-to-play game ever made. So when Skate, a game that's barely even close to finished, made by one of the biggest video game companies in the world, asked for help to support this little early access game by donating a small fee of $10 because the game's free to play anyways. It's not like they asked you to pay $70, so you reluctantly agree that 10 is smaller than 70, so you buy the Battle Pass and to play the whole season, and your reward is a chicken costume and $5. So now if you want to support them again, it'll be another $5 because they didn't give you the first $5 from the first Battle Pass yet, because you don't deserve it, Daniel. And you better not want anything from the store either, not because you probably can't get anything with that $5 anyways, but if you do, you'll have to give them the full 10 again if you want the next Battle Pass. The Battle Pass wasn't where they stopped in their updates though, no. They also addressed the bugs that have been plaguing this game since day one. Since launch, there has been countless times where I've been kicked out of a lobby at random and was not able to join back into the game, been told I couldn't play the game because my PlayStation said it didn't want to, I guess. It had queue times that rival Overwatch 2 levels of bad, and I can't even begin to figure out how many times it's crashed on me mid-game. And even when you finally get into the game, I've experienced soft locks where you're just left there watching the skate paralysis demon do an evil Trey or some shit. So EA quickly rushed onto the scene to patch these game-breaking bugs. So when you boot up into Season 1 after your 1 hour queue time, you will notice that a majority of the glitches I mentioned earlier have been patched out of the game. Mainly the T-pose glitch, and people were very predictably pissed. Jumping past all the glitches that everyone actually despised and immediately pulling a Rockstar and patching one of the very few useful and fun glitches, but leaving behind the same game-breaking glitches, such as when your board just decides it wants to go home mid-challenge. And now it seems like the crashes and lobby boots are more prevalent than ever and not even touched by the devs. Now, why EA would do this still continues to baffle me. Like, you'd think it'd be to trick people into staying in the game longer by forcing them to use their climb feature because they want you to do it their way because it takes so long to climb, and maybe you'll get kicked from the server once or twice during the climb and that'll add a couple minutes to your attention clock. But like, the game is called Skate. The people going up to the building want to skate up there. The climbing is the only thing they don't want to do, so wouldn't being able to do what you want to do immediately mix in with another extremely fun glitch in the space travel shit would be good for longevity because it adds a new unplanned layer of freedom and fun that allows players to do what they want in this open world sandbox? You'd think so, but apparently EA thinks this is more fun. It seems to me that EA doesn't actually want you to be able to do whatever you want, because as I was writing this script, I saw a video showing that EA has also turned down the speed you get from jumping off buildings and shit, and now some of the previous huge gaps that people found are no longer usable, which was like the whole selling point of this game. That's basically the entire reason the spread eagle is now available whenever you want, so that you'll jump off random buildings and land tricks. There are multiple missions in the tutorial story mode that make you jump off a building and spread eagle into a ramp that you can do a cool trick out of. So why would they want to patch something like that out? It makes me feel as though they don't want this to be a sandbox of infinite skate potential for all the fans of this beloved series that they're recreating. They want this to be a very specific skate game that they want, that's merely used as a bland dollar store version of the games that came before to funnel people into their store to buy shit, hoping they won't notice that they just taped early access on their work so you wouldn't be too harsh. There is one more glitch that I'm honestly scared to show you because I actually do use it a lot, and it's actually helped me in a mission already, so I really don't want it to be patched out because it's genuinely my favorite skate glitch in any skate game I've ever played, and I use it all the time. But just so that in case they're already working on the patch, I will share with you my ancient ways. So in this new skate game, they added the feature to roll when holding the right or left trigger and pushing forward. You can also jump while in ball mode, which is funnily enough the fastest form of travel in the skate universe. But for some reason, when this animation of jumping ball is cancelled at the beginning of your jump, your character will break their back and launch a good 20 feet into the air, perfect for using the new spread eagle feature to quickly recover from the ragdoll and equip your board so that you can land in a vert ramp. That's the most fun thing I've ever done in a skate game in a long time. And if this gets patched out, I can genuinely see myself playing the game less, and that's not even a joke. These glitches are so important to the identity of this game. Skate 3 was not just a success at launch. It took YouTubers like PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye to revisit them and show off that goofy, glitchy side of the game to get this game into the popularity it's at right now. So if the new skate game has no glitches because they want to make it more realistic, then it just becomes another boring skateboarding game. And why would I choose that over Skate 3 or Skater XL? Or even Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, which came out a month prior to Skate Early Access and is still one of the most fun video games to enjoy with friends or alone. Hell, PlayStation just announced a new skate game coming from Devolver Digital, which are the brilliant minds behind games like My Friend Pedro, and already seems so unique and fun and deserving of your time and money. Or even crazier, why would I choose that over this? That's right, Skate 3 is in VR now. Okay, that's not completely true. This isn't Skate 3 VR, it's Virtual Skate, which is an indie VR skateboarding simulator that uses your hands as feet in order to pull off tricks similar to the Flick It system TM. I started seeing ads for this game a little after Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 came out, and as the grind for the platinum in that game is so insane, I decided to take a break and try this new VR game out, because, spoiler alert, I don't think Splumpy's gonna get that THPS platinum anytime soon. So I think I have a little bit of time. This $20 game comes with 2 maps, a small warehouse that has everything a skater boy would ever need to get his SKATE on. That's skate, the game, like the game Skate. Children will come up to you asking to play the game Skate, just to warn you more and turn those voices down. But they also have a map focusing on a school in Seattle, which is actually based on a real-life skate spot called Garfield High School, which includes a bunch of rails, a mini skate park, a couple alleys, a really cool looking centerpiece that has countless different gaps to pull off, either solo or going at it with a group of up to 3 other people. And when you finally pull off a spot you've been going for, this game has a built-in replay editor just like Skate, but holy shit, this video editor, it's perfect. The way it works in Virtual Skate is very similar to Skate period. Whenever you like, you can just pull up the replay, even in online sessions, and watch back what you did or record it and upload it for others to see. But the key difference is the way you record. In Skate, you get options like free cam or the board cam, and yes, they've already announced that they will be adding improvements such as the keyframes to this new game, and that's great and all, but it still doesn't even compete with Virtual Skate, because when you record a Virtual Skate video, you take on the role of the cameraman just like any real skate footy that you may see. That means footage. Footy is short for foot. And this feature, even though small and simple, is so satisfying because it feels like you genuinely hit something impressive and and you get to experience that in full first-person 360 view while skating it, but also as the viewer being able to zoom and move with your character, all while holding this digital camera to get the realistic shaky cam visuals that you just can't get in a skate game because you genuinely are recording yourself pull off this crazy trick. And it's so satisfying that words cannot even describe it. This is a game that you need to experience for yourself. It truly feels like everything I've ever wanted since jumping the shark in Skate 3. And you want to know why I feel that way? Because that's exactly what I did the very first day I owned this game. Because not only did it come with those 2 very solid maps, it also came day one with built-in mod support. So if you click this little cog in the corner of the main menu, you're slapped over the face with some of the coolest skate maps you could imagine. Like the Mega Compound from the earlier skate games, Foundry from Tony Hawk's, and most importantly to me at least, the University District from Skate 3 alongside the Super Mega Park, the most iconic skate location ever seen in any of the games. It's a little laggy on Quest 2, but someone uploaded the Mega Park as its own map, so the lag is gone, and when I tell you I genuinely almost teared up when I climbed up that mountain and looked over the park while watching some guy try to land spots, it was such a magical moment to experience, and it honestly felt like I was there hanging out with younger me trying to hit stupid stunts for hours after my parents already told me to go to sleep because I have school the next day. And that's on me, that was my bad. But it was worth it because those memories will never leave me, just like this memory will never leave me. Not only that, but being able to explore the arena and jump the shark in the University District was so incredibly nostalgic, bringing me back to those countless hours playing the Skate 3 demo. And this map still holds up. It's so fun to try and find different spots, and not only doing it with a controller, but actually feeling my body do the motions is extremely satisfying and addicting. And because this game has built-in mod support, that means the community can keep this game alive for as long as they want, because the players are the ones making new maps and content alongside the developers, so it brings together the community in a new way and opens up the possibility for even more maps. Like the airport. Please, for the love of all that's holy, give me airport and I'll cream my shorts. And even maps I didn't really play as a kid, like the compound from the original Skate games, experiencing it for the first time in VR was so insanely fun that I started leaving behind marks on my face from the headset because I was playing it so much. Launching off those mega ramps and being able to do all the wacky fuck shit that you used to be able to do in the old games was so satisfying, and I could genuinely spend all day on that virtual board. The day I found this game and played that map might have been the most fun I've ever experienced in a skate game, period. And it's not even a real skate game. It was made by an extremely small team of people led by the former co-founder of Skater XL, one of the only newer simulation style skating games that came out between the release of Skate 3 and Skate Early Access. You want to know what my skate period first day experience was? After my day of work, I went home and hung out with my girlfriend until she decided to take a nap. So I took that time to boot up Skate on its launch day after waiting 14 years to get my hands on a new skate game. And I booted it up, waited for my queue time, got into the game, got booted out, waited in queue time for another 20 minutes, and then got back into the game, where I played the tutorial. And just as I was getting the hang of it, he was like, "Hurry up, dickhead, it's time to look at the other maps." So I went, and right as the cutscene for San Amsterdam was starting to play, I was booted back to the main menu again, but not just for 20 minutes, but for a whole lot longer, because the game had began maintenance at like 6 p.m. on the day it launched, which was great. When it finally came back, the game was fun though. I was really sad when I realized there actually was no possible way to get back to the tutorial island, but I guess you get what you paid for. So how in the world did this indie team of people who have never even worked on a skate game that I'm aware of capture the essence of skate better than EA did on a VR headset nonetheless? I have no idea. I genuinely don't know how you can fuck up skate as bad as they did, because it's really simple. Fans want a unique, interesting map. They want to be able to express themselves through every trick possible and not possible in real life. They want fun glitches to play around with whenever they get bored of skating. And they want that core skateboarding feeling that previous games perfected with the Flick It system. The new skate game somehow only got the gameplay right, and they're actively trying to pry the glitches from our hands, kicking and screaming starring Will Ferrell. Even Virtual Skate has skate style glitches that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard that the devs don't even plan on fixing the glitches like the session marker glitch, which allows you to get onto spots you were never supposed to, like on top of the school. And spots like that even seem built into the core game, like the spot I found on top of the school roof. Things like this don't diminish the game. We don't look down upon the game more because it's glitchy. glitchy. It's what gives that game its signature charm. Like you're breaking the rules and skating where you shouldn't be because you're not supposed to. It's like the most skate culture thing you could do in a game like this, and it makes it so unique because the creativity of players sometimes even exceed what the people who made the game even thought was possible. And allowing the players that freedom, rather than restraining them and punishing them for experimenting and finding glitches, only forced that wedge further between the fans and the creators of the game. Now, we don't bring up games like Virtual Skate and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater just to be overtly negative and shit on this game, because that's not a fair comparison, especially with Tony Hawk's, but more importantly, I bring them up because I do love this game from what I've played so far, and I have a lot of faith that if the developers put in time and effort needed to create that magic, it can be done, and done extremely well, as seen with how fun the actual skating is. And seeing developers like Friendadev on YouTube really add to that faith, because it's clear that some of that life is still in there. We just gotta wait for them to finally add it in, because EA took their sweet time making that initial skate system. But that doesn't negate the completely valid criticism that this game has received. So sadly, before I sing this game's praises, I need to tell you about the bad. Now, since Skate has released, I dusted off my old PS3 to play some Skate 3 and Skate 2. Skate 2 I actually had never really played. I loved the party play mode with Hall of Meat, but other than that, I never really gave this game a proper chance. I didn't really get into the more realistic style of skating until quite recently, and even Skate 3, more often than not, was just going for crazy stunts rather than hitting this one ledge for an hour straight. So going back now as a grown adult changed my perspective so much, especially with Skate 2. I fucking love the skating in this game. I spent an ungodly amount of time in this little random part of the map, just going back and forth on the structures, finding new ways to skate them. It's so satisfying, especially with the sound in this game. I don't know what it is about the sound compared to Skate, but the sound is so crispy. It's so satisfying hearing your board slam on the ground after you complete a shove it. The fucking flick of your board rotating through the air, it's so good. The sound design is just immaculate in this game. Sadly though, because PlayStation hasn't made these games backwards compatible yet, I can't record any of my gameplay without a capture card, and I also can't just sit down and enjoy this game with my friends because I'm the only sick freak who still busts out his PS3 as often as I do. Nonetheless, I think the biggest difference I've noticed in the older games compared to the 2025 Skate is the world built for skaters by the game developers. But the older Skate games were fully fleshed out worlds that allowed you to find out how to skate within it. This wasn't a world that was designed to have spots in every corner. Most places just seemed like everyday spots you'd find in real life, but that made finding out how to line together different objects in the environment so enjoyable. Hell, in Skate 2, they literally put up skate stoppers just to encourage both the narrative of the game and also your creativity to work around the problem, compared to the new Skate, which just unironically adds skate stoppers on accident because they don't think of this game from a gameplay perspective.
Do they really knob the pole jam?
These older games didn't hold your hand. They were brutal, all the way down to the Hall of Meat mode and Rita laughing at you after you just busted your face on the stairs. Instead of V saying generic supportive phrases or wacky one-liners, the narrator is just some guy who's filming you skate and reacts the way a human would react if someone just got hit by a taxi. These games felt so alive. In the pedestrians and the interactivity they had with you and other skaters, the other skaters themselves doing tricks alongside you, which is extremely similar to Skate 2025, but the biggest difference is the fact that you can fully smash into each other if you aren't paying attention and you go for the same trick at the same time. Yes, that can get annoying after a while, but the pure shock of clotheslining some random skater because you really wanted to hit a 5-0 on a bench is so fucking fun and keeps the game feeling like anything can happen rather than just an empty sandbox to play with your skateboard in. Now, I for one give no shits about the cosmetics in this game. I can ride around in my underwear for all I care as long as the game plays well. But the game is seriously hoping that you're a crack fiend when it comes to the cosmetics, because that's basically the only form of progression in this game. And for someone like me who has absolutely no interest in completing the skate pass, because I'm sorry, I just don't care to skate around as an Eagle mascot because I could just boot up Skate 3 and play as a slab of meat if I really want to get goofy movie with it. So there's really no incentive for me to grind missions that may or may not get get you enough currency to buy everything in the battle pass. It just feels like a huge waste of time when I could be doing literally anything else in this game rather than the new Stunts mode. The challenges themselves are extremely repetitive and boring, and you have to do them over and over again to unlock story mode missions, to unlock battle pass pages, to unlock loot boxes, and the challenges reset your settings to the realistic settings, which is fine if you want to play that way, but maybe I don't want to miss a grind 18 times in a row for 10 rip chips. The most notable of the new challenges they added was the Stunts mode, which is the replacement for the Hall of Meat mode, and maybe, just maybe, is the worst game mode I've ever played in any game. The Hall of Meat mode was beloved by fans and saw you take your little skater boy and fling him off of a building to see how many of his little skater bones you could break. And it was fucking awesome. My tiny little 9-year-old brain thought this was where video games peaked. Are you kidding me? I can jump off this giant ass crane and land directly on my nuts and nards and balls and gonads and also bring my pinky finger? And that's actually what you're supposed to do? Cinema. But in Skate, they wanted to appeal to a family-friendly audience, so they went fully PG. No, fuck that. They went G-rated with this, which is crazy because the game is rated T. For what? The fact that you can pay them to play with their meat? The Stunts game mode is like if you showed your parents the Hall of Meat mode once, and then 5 years later they tried recalling what they saw. Most of the missions just put you on a random building that's high enough so that you have to spread eagle for 20 seconds before you even reach the ground, and then they're just like, hey, try and hit this a couple times. And to make sure comedy ensues, they add a bouncing ball effect to your character, so now when you hit the ground, instead of hearing the cracking of your skater's hopes and dreams die, you just bounce around all silly because that's funny, and that's why you all liked watching those Skate 3 videos 10 years ago, right? Please say yes, this is 25% of the entire fucking game. And the worst part is, not even the fact that they took the fun and the comedy out of it, they also just have you keep doing these stunts over and over again in every challenge. So you have to jump off this building and hit this speaker, and now you do it again and hit this speaker, and now you do it again and hit this speaker, and now you do it again and hit this. This whole mode is an extremely apparent red flag to the community that this game was not made by the skaters or people who enjoy skate culture, or hell, even people who enjoy the skate games. It was made by people who saw a couple viral clips of PewDiePie running into a bench and went, ooh, let's steal kids' money, yeah. And they do say in the roadmap they're adding new game modes, and that could theoretically include Hall of Meat, especially with the amount of uproar given by the community. But even if they do add it in eventually, what will change? You'll get some funny broken bone sound effects and visuals, but your skater will still look like he's about to yell Zul Zul because you took away the pool ladder. They made this game so clean that you could probably hit a gap and enjoy a succulent Chinese meal on the same ledge that your friend has been passed out on for half an hour. In the older skate games, as you continued skating and throwing your character into every wall imaginable, as you would expect, you start to show that process a little bit. A bruise here and there, maybe a cut or two, a broken wrist, example me, and even your board would start to scrape and chip the more you used it as a makeshift sled down a handrail. Even your clothes would start to get dirty and scuffed, and these small details made the game feel so much more real, like I was actually puppeteering this absolute buffoon who really thinks he can land this kickflip off a cliff. But in Skate, you never see a single mark on this little face. You can get hit with a bus, you can hit a bus with you, sometimes cars just decide to choose you at random and run you down. There's a lot of car-related injuries. You can fall off every skyscraper in the game and land headfirst into the ground, literally inside the ground, and your skater will just stand up with a smile on their face and keep trucking. And by that I mean a truck is headed your way. You need to get the fuck out of there. You'll never see a single mark on your board or your skater eyes, and it all just makes everything feel like it was made out of rubber and sanitized, when skating itself is usually a very dirty, grungy activity. If you learn to skateboard without having a single scrap or injury, you're either doing it wrong or you're straight up Tony Hawking on that thing. It all just makes the game feel so much less real and takes me out of the experience because it doesn't feel like I am my character. It feels like I'm just watching the sim learn how to nollie inward heel a two-step, which can be fun, but not as fun as trying over and over to eventually jump the shark in Skate 3. The bails themselves in Skate 2025 are a hit or miss. Sometimes they feel more in depth in Skate 3, where your character actually responds how you'd expect by reaching out with their foot or hands and flinching away from the impact or trying to lessen the blow like you would in real life. And sometimes they just send you into a full ragdoll with no intention of even slightly trying to control your body in the air. It's not like the previous games where if you stumble off your board, your character will quickly try to regain their balance to either fall again or actually keep walking. If your board gets taken out from under you, you can't land on your feet. It's as if the board was glued to your feet, and as soon as you detach from it, your body goes limp and awaits this sweet release of that fucking trash can you're barreling towards. The replay editor also makes a return to this game, and it's technically a replay editor, that's for sure. I played around a lot with the replay editor, as you probably saw in this intro intro and also the thumbnail. And also I have to mention, because it was so fucking perfect, I won't expect anyone to believe it happened unless I show the footage, but the board was just like that when I bailed in this game. I didn't Photoshop the board to be placed like that or have the skate logo and shit. That just fell into the palm of my hands. But to make a thumbnail, it honestly wasn't that bad of an experience using the replay feature. Mainly because I was just using it for screenshots. The free cam allows you to get a lot of unique angles, and because the time of day is fixed, the lighting was always consistent. It's when you start dealing with videos where the issues start to present themselves. This game's replay editor is missing a lot of content, such as keyframes, which allows you to actually move the camera around freely without having to follow your skater around with the most janky free cam controls you could ask for. Filters to make the footy look like, that means footage by the way, footy means footage, to make the footy look unique because nothing else about this game looks unique. Now these missing features don't impact the moment to moment gameplay, and they're going to be added eventually, but it does leave a sour taste in fans' mouth because these features were all included in every skate game that came before it, and I need to repeat myself, this game had the same amount of development time as all three of those games combined, so being early access is no excuse. This is pure laziness. Skate takes another stride away from the previous entries and honestly most mainline skating games in the past 30 years, and it has taken out all of the pro skaters, except it actually hasn't. You see, back in Skate 2, Slappy was introduced as a prominent character where he'd return in Skate 3 and Skate 2025 reprising the same role, all voice acted by a real-life pro skater, David Gravett, which is understandable that I would have him come back and voice Slappy again rather than playing himself, because he's more well known to this series as that character, and that's great. So why did they feel the need to bring back Shingo? Because he is most definitely not voiced by the one and only Dante Basco, who also voiced Jake Long and Prince Zuko. He's instead voiced by Sean Malto, who sure did a great job, but it doesn't even sound like Shingo, so why would they even bring him back as a character in the first place?
Gotta commit to the climb to feel the grind. That's borderline cheesy.
Whoa, Retta. I'm just out here to skate and go to film school. What's up with you?
Especially because he is now voiced by Sean Malto, a real pro skater. Same as the new character named Izzy, who is voiced by a fellow pro skater named Brianna Gearing. So they did bring in 2 new pro skaters to the franchise, but they just slapped a soulless character model on them, either for recognition or just as a slap in the face because fuck you, I guess. Even though the fans have been throwing rocks at EA telling them that they miss the pro skaters. All of my life I've known about different pro skaters. Danny Way, Bob Burnquist, Eric Costin, Alyssa Steamer, Rob Deerdeck, fucking Tony Hawk. Ever heard of him? And I had never seen the actual sport of skateboarding anywhere except on youtube.com/ridiculousnessisawesome.com. Only after playing these types of games did I find out who all these people were. The pro skaters weren't just a gimmick to give the fans a recognizable face to sell copies. They were personalities. They were relatable. They felt like true people living in this world just like you. But in Skate, we never even see the character models of any of these characters outside of their little mugshots down here. In previous Skate games, you'd see pro skaters skating everywhere alongside you, which made those games feel incredibly lived in, and not only that, but you could also break your board over Shingo's face if you saw him try to hit a clip, and that's fucking awesome! This is my official request for EA to bring back the feature to brutally assault anyone you see with a deadly weapon. Now, make it a setting where you can opt in to allow us to hit each other so we can just have the slightest bit of interaction with these ghosts skating around Sandbank. That added such a fun aspect to the game that was also very apparent in real life skate culture. Imagine the chaos that could ensue if you could collide with other skaters around the map, because you do see other skaters consistently. They're just voice acted by pro gamers, as in you, the proest gamer in my heart. But especially with how clustered certain areas get when people are just trying to kickflip onto a floating skateboard, missing that jump due to Steve eating shit right before you would be so fucking funny, and I think it would expand this game's life in the long term, because it's currently slowly dying because of how little there is to do, especially with other players in an online-only game. In the new Skate game, the difficulty also feels very artificial. Most often you'll be doing the right thing, but with how strict the game's collision is, especially in missions, most often you'll be tripping over your board rather than pulling off sick tricks by accident. Going back and playing the older Skate games had me realize just how often you'd be just minding your own business and then out of nowhere hit a clip that Mr. Rob of Rob and Big Success would even be impressed by.
Toilet!
So often, this game will just bug out and send you into a random rail, and you'll just have to sit there acting like you didn't just pull off the line of a century. But in Skate, I rarely, if ever, felt those moments where you have to just compose yourself because of how cool the thing you just totally did on accident was. In Skate, more often than not, it just becomes tiring and frustrating trying and failing to hit a clip, to where when you finally pull off that sick line, it's not even that satisfying. You're just glad you don't have to do it anymore. That completely takes away the feeling of accomplishment in my eyes that the previous games were able to give you purely by accident. Now the game just wants you to get stuck on the same mission for half an hour so they don't have to keep adding more. That feeling of satisfaction was instead replaced by the spread eagle big gap shits that went viral on YouTube, but were usually hard to do, so that's why it was so rare. It seems like they just tried as hard as they possibly could to use those stunts as free marketing, because I've seen countless videos on Instagram showing off the newest gap where you jump half of the map by flying like an eagle into 4 ramps you put down.
First, we're going to monkey swing off this crane into a full spread eagle, land into that bowl, then hit the church gap, crash down through the window, and land on the platform.
But I rarely see actual clips of realistic skating with more than a couple hundred likes. And those stunts, while they can be fun, they aren't going to keep the players around in the long run, because once you've done a couple, there really is no difference in doing it in a different area. This game's intro is also a perfect example of the effort put into the previous games not being even slightly replicated in this game. In Skate 1, 2, and 3, there are full live-action short movies / music videos that introduce the player to the world, to the skaters in that world, and to your own character, who starts their journey once again by being hit by and having to work their way up by either getting on magazines, stopping the city from taking away their skate spots, or selling boards. You get arrested, you eat shit in front of the entire world. Your character isn't just some generic avatar that pushes the board around. They're a genuine character that the other skaters know and interact with. You get countless in-game cutscenes meeting the skaters and talking about your history with one another, and you truly get to envelop this up-and-coming skater as you play through the games. The intros would even include all of those pro skaters acting as themselves to introduce to you, which only makes the world feel even more real. Hell, the Skate 3 intro literally takes us through the process of manufacturing your specific board for a stunt that you're about to perform. The game is built around making the player feel like they are the coolest skater in the world. Skate just makes you feel like a skater in this world of skaters exactly like you. Nothing interesting, nothing unique besides the clothes that you pay real money for. Even Tony Hawk uses their intro to purely show off how fucking cool the pro skaters are in real life, only for you to just be able to take control of them and try to replicate that same feeling. In Skate 2025, the intro is just a compilation of all the other games, just to be like, hey, you remember these games? Yeah, this game has the same names, so maybe give me money because of that? I don't want this video to be about putting down this game. There are many things to love about this game, and I only point out the things I do out of love and care for this franchise, in the hope that this will get better. So to put a little bow on this video and show my gratitude to this game, I want to take my time and point out some things I really like about this game. Starting with the online. Now, I am still very much against the idea of having this game be strictly online only. I think the game would benefit like crazy with having an offline mode. Skater gamers are easy to please. I'm not asking for any cosmetics or fancy shit. Just give me this map, this board, and a character model that could just be a gray human being shaped character for all I care. And I'd be happy, but that doesn't mean that the online is all that bad. It's lacking, but what is there is really enjoyable. And it's what makes this game feel as alive as it is. Each lobby can hold up to 150 players all skating around Scanvan at once, and that can make for some pretty amazing moments of natural gameplay. And also, side note, I just think it's such an amazing feature that's so small, but the fact that you can now leave your character bailed on the ground makes for some amazing bits of humor, especially with all the different players. There's always at least one corpse on the side of the park that just failed a huge stunt jump, and seeing players congregate around it is so funny and makes the world feel just that little bit more alive, even though that guy is definitely not alive. Another example of this community making the world feel alive in ways unique only to this game happened on the first day Early Access came out. I was exploring the Hedgemont district and saw someone flying off a bridge into a canal below. Then another, and then another, and when I finally climbed up there to see where they were all leaping off of, I found out that someone had placed a ramp at the bottom, so as anyone would, I placed a session marker and I started jumping off that bridge because everyone else was. And that was so fun. Whether we all ate shit or we all landed on that ramp and launched throughout the underpass, it was such a unique, fun experience that could have never happened in games like Skate 3. And with how popular the dropper mechanic was from that game, they implemented it into this game as well, allowing each player to place down up to 5 items of their own to skate on. And because so many people can be in a lobby, that means with the right coordination, you could theoretically create an amazing skate park with each other. Now, I've never actually seen that get done, but it's like a YouTuber's wet dream to get 150 people on the same thing at once, so it's bound to happen eventually. Most of the time, people just find a big jump, go at it as fast as humanly possible, and wherever their limp body lands, they place a kicker so that they keep trying it again and again until they hit that sick clip and upload it on Instagram. And that was one of the most popular things to do in Skate 3 too. It led to some insanely memorable and fun moments. The fact that this isn't a game with as high of a player count as they do is honestly pretty impressive, and I'm excited to see what they could do with that feature in the future. I have yet to fully dive into that side of the game yet, but I'm sure I'll find some great moments with my friends as time goes on in this game. I also haven't kicked that itch to just go roll around in a bowl because the vert skating is so fun. I had to tweak some settings to get the pumping mechanics correct, but once I did, I lost so many hours just to the bowl on rolling waves. I've probably been in that rolling waves bowl for more time than I've spent in any other part of the map combined. And especially when they add things like varied stalls and Stark slides, and most importantly more parks, the vert gameplay is just going to get better and better, and I don't know if I'll ever want to do anything else. It's such a solid base for a skate game, and I'm so excited to see what can come from it if they don't just concord the game in 6 months. I guess only time will tell. I also was extremely worried about the soundtrack when this game was starting to drum a pipe about the release. I assumed it would be a bunch of forgettable, copyright-free generic beats that you kind of notice in the background but never actually care to listen to. It's kind of just white noise for skaters, and that is the case, but I was honestly pleasantly surprised. I listened through the Skate soundtrack one night, and although there were a hefty amount of stinkers, that's expected in a game with a soundtrack that expands over 100 songs and counting. So finding those diamonds in the rough was really good to hear, because there are a lot of songs that I feel like would be right at home in Skate 3 soundtrack. And with the new playlist and music grabber feature that functions a lot like the app Shazam, you can curate your Skate soundtrack to be whatever you want, and that's really cool.
I didn't mean to grab the music. Put it back.
I hope they can expand and maybe even feature songs from previous titles, especially because the social media team can't go a single minute without mentioning Putting On for Your City. The soundtrack isn't nearly as iconic as the previous games, but it'll suffice for early access. I never really knew most of the artists performing in Skate 3 either. Granted, I was 9, but even now you cannot convince me otherwise that this isn't just Iron Weasel and the fucking multiverse out there. And also, is that fucking Link from Rhett and Link? Like the YouTube channel Rhett and Link. And I cannot tell you who Dr. John is, but this song goes incredibly hard, and I am definitely in the right place and the wrong time right now. I think my biggest issue I have with this game's soundtrack is the fact that they kind of just threw in music as an afterthought. In Skate 3, going through the Coach Frank Academy for skateboarders, the background music feels like it adds to the overall experience. Playing after the narration, just allowing you to flow through the different courses while listening to bangers. Each mission changes the song and allows for unique experiences, making every area feel different and comes together nicely to create this beautiful puzzle. In Skate, the music is so quiet that it sometimes just blends in with the board sounds, and most of the time I forget to even turn on the music because it's not on by default when you start the game. Now, as you've probably noticed throughout this video, I have yet to call this game Skate 4, and that is for good reason. Number one, the developers themselves have not mentioned a single time the number 4. They always just refer to it as Skate, which sucks because that's already a game, but I digress. I more so refuse to call this game Skate 4 because it just doesn't deserve that. Skate 4, in the eyes of myself, and I'm sure many of you watching, is on the level of a Half-Life 3. This game that fans have wanted for so long that may never come, and we kind of just accepted that fate up until the announcement of this game. But when we got the product we did any of you actually feel like this is the Skate 4 we've waited all this time for? A glorified tutorial with better skating? Absolutely not. And I may be delusional in thinking this way, but I like to think that this game is titled Skate Period because eventually, someday when this game comes out of early access, EA will surprise us all and the actual full release title replaces the period with a 4, making this game the true Skate 4 alongside a full story, a full map, and more content than we could have ever expected from a Skate 4 release 10 years ago. And all of that is possible with the early access model. It feels like a cop-out right now, but in a couple years' time there's a solid chance that with consistent updates and support, and most importantly, the people in charge listening to fans and what they want, bring back the T-pose glitch, you cowards. Okay, that's a little harsh, but this game could genuinely be on the level of a Fallout 76 6 or a No Man's Sky, where throughout the years of failure and hardships, the game we always wanted finally came into our hands, even if we had to wait a long time. With the rest of this amazing community, the world of skateboarding video games seems like it's finally getting the love and attention it truly deserves this year, with both Tony Hawk's and Skate returning, but even more so with the indie titles like Virtual Skate and Skate Story. Hell, even Ollie Ollie is a great game to mess around in, even though that came out like 10 years ago. And I'll always be a huge fan of this genre of games, and seeing how much love it's receiving lately makes me extremely excited to see what comes next in 2026 and beyond. I just hope that Skate is ready to keep up and make this game the game that you, me, and everyone else had been waiting for over a decade. Thank you so much for watching this video. It took me a long time to get the motivation to make any video because the last one I tried to make was about Rainbow Six Siege, and I think that game just has a way of breaking my will, but I am really passionate about this game and the future of the series, and I hope you all enjoyed or at least got something out of this video. I hope it reaches up to the goopy standards of Spider Peter Man Parker, but if you believe it didn't, comment below so I can sick Shingo on you and you're gonna learn what the fuck footy is short for. But if you did enjoy this video, please think about subscribing. We have like 98% of you not subscribed, but if you liked this video, I feel like you'll find at least something else on this channel to like, and if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe after the next video. Maybe even leave a comment or two if you thought I've missed out on anything, or if you disagree with something I said during this video. I'd love to see what everyone else thinks of this game, and I'm excited to see you all in the Rolling Waves park. I swear if any of you disagree with me on the fact that that's the best park in the game, I will hit you with my board and then jump on your body until you get really angry and push me off a cliff like in Skate 3. I can't promise that I'll be back soon because we all know how my upload schedule has been, but I can tell you whenever you do see me next, I'm going to give it my all and make sure that it is just as good, if not better, than this video was. So I hope the quality of this video can convince you to hit that big red button because only 4.8 of you actually have, and it really helps us out here. It's been your boy Seshi, and I'll see you in the next one.